Hello, 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 and welcome back to Fallout 76, where we are going to take a run at the Purveyor's mystery pick here in January of 2021. So the mystery pick is probably nobody's favorite special Purveyor event, and quite honestly, it's not my favorite special Purveyor event. I'd certainly like to see more 25% off sales and things like that. But you know what? It gives us an opportunity to get a variety of items that we can talk about and look at. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do today. We're going to burn through some Scrip. I'm going to burn through as much of 1,000 as I can, then cash a few things back in and get a few extra picks from the Purveyor. Remember, if you like videos like this and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. You all know what to do at this point. Let's get into it and see if Mama Mumbles has any love for us today. And our first roll is a nocturnal trapper left leg with charisma and junk item weight reduction. So, nocturnal is probably the least desirable legendary effect on weapons, and I would say it's probably the least desirable effect on armor as well, because it gives you extra damage resistance as the night progresses, but it takes it away during the day. So yeah, not very useful at all. A little extra charisma isn't a bad thing to have. You'll get a few more caps at the at NPC vendors when you sell things, but that's really about it. Junk item weight reduction, not my favorite effect. There are some players out there who I'm sure really like it, but to me, that's a temporary thing. I don't think anybody really carries tons of junk all the time. So probably not the most useful of the weight reduction perks. Let's move on and see what's next. All right, and now we've got a Stalker's pitchfork with faster swing speed and extra strength. So, Stalkers on a melee weapon is pretty much useless. Honestly, they really should just remove it. If not in combat, you get 100% VATS accuracy increase at plus 50 AP cost. So, yeah, here's the thing. With melee weapons, you either have a 0% chance or a 95% chance. There is no in between. So, if you have that 95 with a melee weapon, you're gonna hit. Unless, of course, your hit doesn't register, which is not entirely impossible in Fallout 76, because melee hit registration is questionable at best and certainly in VATS. So, really bad primary effect. 40% faster swing speed, however, is an amazing effect. That, in my opinion, is the most valuable effect on a melee weapon because it helps you kill things faster. And in Fallout 76, there's really nothing more important than killing things as quickly as possible. Extra strength is going to give us a little extra damage and a little extra carry weight, so that's not bad. The pitchfork, not a super amazing weapon in general, but it's fun. You can put the flaming mod on it and run around in a devil suit and do your thing. So there's fun to be had with it. There would be more fun to be had if it wasn't a Stalker's weapon. Let's keep going. And next up, we've got a berserker's harpoon gun with VATS hit chance and less VATS AP cost. Mama Mumbles, who hurt you? Really, I promise it wasn't me. So here we have an interesting case. You've got a secondary effect with VATS hit chance and a tertiary effect with 25% less VATS AP cost. Those two things synergize really, really well together. So if this weapon had anything else on it, that would be an awesome combo, but berserkers, much like nocturnal, if you've got no armor, you get an extra damage buff, which is cool. But if you have armor, you're going to do less damage. You pay a penalty, so that's no good because this is a heavy gun, and realistically, any heavy gunner is going to be wearing armor of some kind. And it's a shame because those two second and third star combos, increased VATS hit chance and less VATS AP cost. For a heavy gunner, you're usually not super invested in agility, so being able to not waste VATS points, VATS AP on your percentages, and being able to cost less as a whole makes this a really effective weapon to use. Unfortunately, it's berserkers. If this was anything else, it could be suppressors, it could be anything but berserkers or nocturnal, and it would have been a pretty cool roll. Unfortunately, Mama Mumbles went and screwed it all up with berserkers. Let's keep it rolling. And with another roll, we've got more armor. Mutants Marine left arm with extra environmental disease resistance and junk item weight reduction. So we already talked about junk item weight reduction. Don't need to waste a lot of time on that. Environmental disease resistance. In my experience in Fallout 76, you're going to get diseases. I don't think any of these disease reduction effects affect a damn thing. I'm not convinced that they work at all. Mutants on armor, the mutants effect is not bad. It's plus 10 damage resistance and energy resistance if you're mutated. So if you have a whole suit of mutants armor, you're getting an extra 50 damage and energy resistance. It's not huge, but it's constant. It's there all the time. You don't have to do anything special to do it. Everybody's mutated at some point in the game. By the time you reach level 50 or so, you're gonna start taking some mutations. So it's not a bad effect to have. It would be much more interesting if this had a better second or third star, something with a useful item weight reduction or AP refresh or sentinels or cavaliers or something like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't have those things, so it's probably going to get turned back in. Let's keep going. Next up, we've got, we're back to berserkers, are we? Okay, berserkers hunting rifle with VATS critical shots doing extra 50% damage and damage resistance while aiming. So, for berserkers weapon, there are people who run berserkers builds and enjoy it. And the primary reason for that, the primary benefit to me to do that is that you don't have to hassle around with armor. If you're gonna run a berserkers build, you're gonna run a weapon more like this. You're gonna suppress it, you're gonna shoot from a distance, you're gonna shoot from safety. So this is not a bad weapon to get the berserkers effect on. VATS critical shots doing additional damage, that's pretty good too, because this is not a super powerful weapon, so you will be relying on VATS criticals to take things out, especially with headshots from a distance. Little extra damage resistance while aiming doesn't hurt anything, but it's probably not your primary concern with something like this. And in fact, it might fight with the berserker's effect. So aiming this and getting 50 DR might actually give you negative damage on the weapon itself. So I don't know if it works that way. I'm probably not quick enough to figure out if it works that way, but it very well might. And if it does, then, well, that kind of sucks. But if you rely on using it in VATS, then you're probably okay. So needless to say, if it's going to be a berserker's weapon, well, might as well be something like this. Not ideal, though. Let's keep going. And what do we have next? We have more armor. Oh, good. That's what I hate about the mystery. It's 60 scrip, and sometimes you get armor. You would have been paying 60 for armor anyway. So, yeah, don't love it. Really just expands the pool. So I say, still, by all means, get what you want. Don't waste time on the mystery pick in general, but it's good for our purposes here talking about different things. So here we have a weightless heavy leather chest piece with rad resistance and more durability than normal. The weightless effect, normally it does reduce the weight of the armor. In this case, it doesn't really seem to be doing that at 3.6 pounds. I don't think that this piece of armor normally weighs 36 pounds. So that kind of sucks. It does not count as armor for the chameleon mutation. So if you want to be able to stand upright and be invisible, weightless armor is for you. That seems like a fairly useless thing to do, but if you want to do it, you can do it. We get 25 rad resistance, which is a useful thing to have. It's not going to protect you in a nuke zone, but it will help you when you're running around Fisher sites and things like that. I am a big fan of 50% more durability than normal. I hate fixing things. I don't like grinding for things, so that's a good one. Next up, we've got a life-saving Secret Service right leg with extra endurance and ammo weight reduction. So here, this one's interesting. For my character, this is a good piece. I have a right leg now that's life-saving, but it doesn't really have any useful second or third stars, and it's a trapper piece, which is pretty much garbage, so this is going to be a big upgrade because it's Secret Service. The life-saving effect is kind of useful. I wouldn't trade out an unyielding piece on a low health build, but right now I'm on my full health stealth commando, so this is a good piece to have. Extra endurance is going to give me a little more health. Ammo weight reduction, not a bad thing to have. I run bandolier, so diminishing returns there. Not really going to see a big effect from that, but if you were someone who doesn't run that perk, then, well, that might be a useful thing for you to have. Life saving is basically going to give you a chance to be revived if you die while you're wearing this piece of armor. If you have a few pieces of it, you get better odds. So that's pretty useful, especially in things like daily ops. And it also counts for the Revenant perk. So if you go down with that and get revived, you do extra damage for a while. Now we've got an instigating hunting rifle with VATS hit chance and 90% reduced weight. Now this is a significant upgrade over that berserkers hunting rifle. Instigating has taken a hit since it was nerfed a couple of months ago, and I really wish they would reverse that because it does kind of make it suck now. Basically, you're only doubling the base damage of the weapon, which isn't a whole lot, but it's also not nothing. Now here we've got increased VATS hit chance and 90% reduced weight. The VATS hit chance effect is more valuable than it looks on paper. With that, the real benefit you get there is you can target weak spots on enemies, like heads on most enemies, torsos on robots, or limbs that you want to cripple. So it allows you to be more strategic. It allows you to do more damage to those weak spots. So increasing that VATS hit chance really, really helps for a VATS build. And it does let you do more damage as a result. 90% reduced weight. By the time we get some mods on this thing, it's going to pick some weight back up, but it does weigh less than normal. And, if you get that instigating shot combined with some stealth, combined with a headshot, combined with a VATS critical, yeah, that can do some damage. So this would be a better combo on something like a lever action or a Gauss rifle that has a higher base damage to double. But all in all, not a bad roll if you really like the hunting rifle. And now we've got more armor. Okay, a Vanguard's robot chest piece. It's a heavy variant, so that's good. 25 rad resistance and 75% chance to reduce damage by 15% while sprinting, which is the Cavalier's effect. So this is not a bad roll. Heavy robot armor is very good. It offers decent protection. With some mods on it, it offers even better protection. Robot armor offers radiation resistance by default as well, so that extra 25 rad resistance on top of that is a pretty good combo here. So definitely a good piece if you spend a lot of time ghoul fighting or you spend a lot of time running around Fisher sites. The Cavalier's effect I like especially for melee players. Melee and unarmed characters that spend a lot of time sprinting from target to target. If you put a whole suit together with the Cavalier effect, that's going to give you a lot of protection. It's going to make you really tanky. Vanguards as the primary gives you 35 damage and energy resistance the higher your health. So not a bad thing if you're a full health build. It gives you kind of a buffer at the top end. What I actually recommend here is if you're going to go full health and you're going to use Vanguards, a combo of Vanguards and bolstering pieces can actually be really good. That way you've got a little protection at the top end, you've got a little protection at the back end, maybe add in a life-saving piece or an auto-stim piece as your fifth there to give you a little extra advantage, and that can make for a pretty useful creative set of armor. So this is not bad. This is not a bad roll at all. Probably not going to be good for me, but it's good to see there's some stuff like that you can land here. Let's keep it going. All right, and our next roll is a regenerating trapper right leg with extra luck and again the Cavalier's effect. So not bad. 2 Cavalier's pieces, those are very useful. The regenerating effect I don't love. If you really want to be able to regenerate health between combat, there's perks you can use, but more importantly, you've got the healing factor mutation, which I know some people love it, some people don't. I like it. I think it's convenient, saves me on stim packs and things like that. But, if you want to regenerate, that is more effective than the armor pieces. I'd much rather have an armor piece that's going to protect me better rather than regenerate some health in between fights. Luck gives us a little more The only real benefit to that is more VATS critical chances, which isn't a bad thing, but realistically, if you're a VATS critical build, you've already got really high luck, so this isn't going to do a whole lot for you. The Cavalier effect is excellent, so if you're trying to build a whole set of Cavalier armor, then maybe this piece fits in there somewhere until you get a better Cavalier's piece. But overall, not in love with it. I also don't love the Trapper armor. I find that it breaks much faster than other armor, and it just doesn't offer the kind of resistances that others do. So, not in love with this one, but the Cavalier's effect is good. And what's next? Mama Mumbles, what? Do you think I, like, strangled your cat or something? I mean, you're giving me some cool stuff here with these really terrible effects. It's not cool. Not cool at all, Mama Mumbles. So here we've got a Suppressor's sheepsquatch staff with more power attack damage and less damage while power attacking. So, here, second and third stars synergize very well together. 40% more power attack damage means on a high base damage weapon like this that we're able to do pretty solid damage with power attacks with this. Taking less damage while we're doing it, well, that doesn't hurt anybody. The Suppressor's effect, unfortunately, on a weapon like this is fairly useless. On slow-moving, hard-hitting melee weapons, your goal really is going to be to kill things in one shot, especially if you've got that power attack damage buff. So, basically, what are you going to suppress? Your target might output less damage for 3 seconds, but if you're doing this right, your target's not going to be alive for 3 seconds. So you will, as we said in the other video, you will suppress it with murder. And that is the more effective way to do things in Fallout 76. If you want defense, just kill things faster. So sadly, primary effect doesn't really do anything for us here, but it also doesn't actively hurt us. So let's see what's next. A Troubleshooter's Urban Scout Armor left arm with AP refresh and ammo weight reduction. So, Troubleshooters, of the situational damage and protection effects, Troubleshooters is one of the better ones. You've got multiple activities on the map that you can predict that involve exclusively fighting robots. You've got robot daily ops, you've got encrypted, you've got AWOL armaments, you've got nuke silos. There are plenty of reasons to have some Troubleshooters armor. Once we get a stash size increase, it's also going to be a lot easier to keep around full sets of these. So that's going to be a little more interesting. Scout armor is great because the mods are readily available from the Enclave vendor. You can go buy them there anytime you need them. It gets a little expensive, but you can do it anytime you want it. There's no guesswork there. You just have to save up the caps. AP refresh is an excellent second star. That's going to be really good for somebody who maybe doesn't have some of the AP refresh perks running, or maybe if you want to take one out so you can put something else in there. Basically, every item that you have in your inventory or in your perks that increases AP refresh, you get a diminishing return. They're all equal. They all do the same thing equally, but it's diminishing returns over time. So once you've got 3 or 4 things refreshing your AP, you're pretty much good to go. So if you get something like this, then maybe you can pop off a point from Action Boy or Action Girl and take something else. You get the picture. Ammo weight reduction, not a bad thing to have, but realistically, anybody that's probably going to notice that is most likely running Bandolier already. If you're not, then, well, maybe this is a good thing to have. But, so not my favorite weight reduction. I'd prefer to see weapon weight reduction or chems or food, but overall, the Troubleshooters with AP refresh, this could be a valuable piece for a set that somebody might keep in their stash for future endeavors. And next up, we've got an Assassin's Cultist dagger with faster swing speed and extra endurance. So, the Assassin's effect now applies to humans, plus 10% damage to humans. So yes, it's also to players, but as it was prior to the change, but it now also affects human NPCs. Human NPCs are pretty squishy, so you don't really need a ton of damage to handle them well. So that's not a bad thing to have, but it's not earth-shattering. 40% faster swing speed, that's definitely a good thing to have. Yes, if you combine this with martial artist, then you have diminishing returns, but faster is faster, and faster is better, period. Extra endurance is going to give you a little more health, and that doesn't hurt anybody. So this isn't a bad piece. You know, if you're role-playing as a Mothman cultist, then this is the right weapon for you. The assassin's effect isn't amazing, but faster swing speed and endurance don't hurt. So not a bad roll here. At least you got something good. To me, faster swing speed is everything on melee. And here we have a furious lever action rifle with faster fire rate and 15% faster reload. So these effects, if this were a handmade or a 50 cal, would be unbelievable. On a lever action rifle, not an amazing fit. So now let's say though, maybe you aren't a rifle build. Maybe you're a heavy gunner. Maybe you're a melee player and you don't have rifle perks. You don't have anything to give you a lot of extra damage. Well, now the Furious effect is interesting because maybe you want to use it as a sidearm. So you can do that. You're going to need to hit things a lot of times because you don't have the perks, but you get some damage increase as you go. So that's not a bad thing. So not necessarily ideal for someone built for rifles, but could be useful for someone who isn't built for rifles. Your 25% faster fire rate doesn't really do a whole lot for you on single shot weapons. I'd be interested to test it against a rifle, against a lever action that doesn't have it, to see if it makes the action faster in between shots, but I don't think it does. So not really super useful there. I could be wrong on that, and we may test that in the future at some point because I am legitimately curious, but I don't think it's going to do anything. Faster reload, oh, that's good. Let's see what's next. Executioner's lead pipe with faster swing speed and endurance. So the Executioner's effect has become more valuable since the One Wasteland update. It does appear to be the sole remaining legendary effect that is truly multiplicative. And we all will say that in hushed tones so that if any Bethesda developers are watching, they don't go in there and quote unquote fix it. Please do not do that. It works. It's good. It's interesting. For once, we have an effect that's interesting. It went from being totally undesirable to at least somewhat interesting. Don't change it. Executioner's lead pipe. So what this does is as our target goes down in health, we're going to do more damage. Faster swing speed, always good. Helps us hit things faster. Pretty straightforward. Extra endurance for extra health. The Executioner's effect, with a melee weapon, sure. With a lot of really squishy things, you're going to kill them in 1 or 2 hits, but when you get to something tankier, that's where this comes into play. I've been running with an Executioner's Gauntlet, and I love it in daily ops. I mean, I'm still doing 1 or 2 shots on most things throughout the op, but when I get to the boss, the amount of damage from first half of their health bar to the second half is night and day. It really makes a huge difference, and it could make a weapon like a lead pipe that is rather underwhelming. It could make it a little more useful. So not bad. It's an interesting role. The lead pipe, not a super desirable weapon to be sure, but at the same time, the effects are okay. Let's keep it rolling here. This one's getting a little long. And our last roll before we grab a few more is a Furious Pool Cue with power attack damage and less damage while power attacking. So, this isn't bad. The second and third stars, like we saw in a weapon earlier, power attack damage, less damage while power attacking. Both of those things synergize well together, so that's good. The Furious effect, not normally ideal on a melee weapon. Just because you're not usually hitting things more than once or twice before they die, so you don't really get to max out that effect. But on a pool cue's not a great weapon to begin with, so getting a little extra oomph behind your hits as you hit things 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times with a weapon like this might not be the worst thing in the world. So melee weapons in this game, you know, there's a few that are really good, and there's a lot of them that are just for fun. The pool cue is definitely one of those weapons. You want to role play, you want to have a goofy character, you want to have some kind of a meme build. your pool cues, your walking canes, your rolling pins, your pipe wrenches. That's what that kind of thing is for. And there's fun to be had with it, even though it might not be the most dominant weapon in the game. And that, I think, is what this is here. So, this is actually a decent set of effects for a build like that. Let's go trade in some more Scrip. We'll come back and grab a couple more things. All right, 3 more rolls to go. We've got a Ghoul Slayer's Machete with faster swing speed and less damage while blocking. So, let's get the bad thing out of the way first, because this is better than it looks. 15% less damage while blocking. If you block in Fallout 76, I salute you. I have no idea what you're doing. I have no idea how you're doing it or why you're doing it. But if you do and you enjoy it, go you. I have never once blocked in this game. I don't understand what the point of it is. If I have time to block, I have time to hit my enemy again and make them die. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, the good stuff here. Damage to ghouls is a situational effect that isn't super desirable. That is true. Faster swing speed is super desirable. The machete, not an amazing weapon, not a super high damage weapon. However, one of the most popular things to do in Fallout 76 is go ghoul hunting at the White Spring. This weapon only weighs 2 pounds. So, if you have a melee build, or even if you don't, maybe you just have an unyielding, bloodied build with a lot of strength. A weapon like this, with its swing speed, you can hack your way through White Spring with this, grind for XP, grind for legendaries, grind for loot, without burning up a lot of ammo and without taking up a lot of weight. This isn't a god roll, this isn't the kind of thing you're going to build your character around, but it is a potentially useful weapon because of the swing speed and because of the little bonus damage to ghouls. So it could be pretty cool. I think this is better than it looks. This is one that, is it weapon spotlight worthy? No, it's too situational for that. But in your game, or for my game, am I going to carry this around and mod it out a little bit? You know what? I might have a chance to use this. So this isn't bad. Let's get 2 more going. Okay, come on, Mama Mumbles. Ugh. Okay, well, while the other one was a kind of sleeper hit of a weapon, this is a pile of garbage. So Stalkers, we hit it at the beginning of the video. It's terrible on melee weapons. Make it go away. No more needs to be said. Limb damage on melee weapons. With some of the meme weapons you can kind of have, it could be fun, I guess, but not really all that useful. And less damage while power attacking. Well, that's good if you're doing more damage while you're power attacking, then you have a reason to be doing a lot of power attacking. But yeah, this one, this one's just straight garbage. Sorry. I try to find the good. I try to find something valuable or a use case for pretty much everything. That's kind of my routine that I do that sets me apart, I think, with these videos. But this is just straight trash. Let's keep going. All right, last roll of the day. What do you got for us, Mama Mumbles? How disappointing. Okay. So a vampire spear with limb damage and less damage while power attacking. The vampire's effect, I love on fast-firing guns. On melee weapons, not as much. Now, with that said, if this were vampires with swing speed, this could be potentially useful. Let's say you are in a group running a daily op with resilient enemies. The ideal way to do that is to have 1 or 2 people in your group, even if they're not built for it, running melee. So your gunners will get everything down to low health, and then you can go take everything out. And then the other people can go take everything out with a melee weapon. Vampires' weapons would be ideal for that. Swing speed is ideal for that because hit registration is terrible. So that's a good thing. Limb damage, not so useful. It just isn't. I can see certain scenarios where it might be fun to whack things with a rolling pin and watch them limp around, but beyond that few minutes of entertainment, I just don't think it's that useful. Taking less damage while power attacking, not a bad thing, but not super useful. So, Vampire Spear, probably not the best weapon. There are definitely use cases for vampires' melee weapons in this game, but that's probably not the one. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to bring us to the end of this Purveyor video. So we had a few interesting things to talk about, and that's really the goal of my videos here. Is it's not so much, there's a lot of people out there that they roll for things and they just say, crap good, bad good, whatever, and they rifle through them. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's still fun and entertaining to watch from time to time. But I want to do something a little different. I like being able to talk about all the different effects, and the mystery pick gives us a chance to do that in ways that we might not otherwise be able to. So I do thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. If you did, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. There's always more to come on the channel, including new live streams that are going to be happening, generally speaking, Monday and Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday evenings for now are going to be Fallout 76 weekly challenges. Monday evenings are going to be other things. Right now we're playing through Destroy All Humans, the remake, which is really fun. And other than that, we've just always got things happening on the channel. So I hope to see you next time. Till then, I'm Fisty McRib.